When beginning your healer journey in the Elder Scrolls Online, you have so many choices to make right from the start. Your race, your appearance, your alliance, but one could argue that the most important choice you will make is your class. There are currently 7 classes to choose from in ESO, each of them bringing something unique to the realm of healing. I've always believed that our main class can actually reflect some characteristics of us as people, whether it's our personality type, aesthetic, playstyle, willingness to follow metas, etc. I think our main class can say something about all of us. My name's Doc, your host for all things healing, and in this video I'm going to be overanalyzing your favorite healing class in ESO to maybe say something about you. One last thing I'll mention before we jump into this is that this is for fun. So many unique and wonderful people all play this game, and healers come from all walks of life. I may not get everything perfectly, but I still hope to make some pretty good calls. Let's start with probably the most popular healing class, the Templar. I have a soft spot for you Templar mains because, well, I am one of you. My first and main character is a Templar, so I think I've got this one down. If you main a Templar healer, I bet you fall into one of 2 categories. The first is that you're newer to the game, or maybe you're just newer to healing. You probably saw Templar and thought, well, that's a healer if I've ever seen one, and decided that Templar would at least be a good jumping off point for getting into healing. The other category is that you're someone who can appreciate simplicity and a streamlined approach to healing. There's a good chance you're someone who isn't too concerned with metas or min-maxing. You know Templar isn't the best healing class in the game right now, but that doesn't matter. You're there to heal, and heal you will. Most other Templar mains I've met are pretty chill, and just want to be helpful to their party. Oh, and I bet you probably play as a paladin or a cleric in D&D or Baldur's Gate. Next up we have our Sorcerer healers. I'll admit, I don't see too many of you guys, but I do know that I'm in for a pretty good run if I do. Sorcerer healers that I've met tend to be very knowledgeable, both in terms of their class and the game as a whole. It fits well as these guys tend to enjoy the wizard or intelligence builds in other games. Despite this though, I've never known a sorcerer healer to gloat or show off. They're often very quiet, reserved, and would rather just show you how good they are. There's a good chance that the Sorc is not this person's first healer tune, or it could be that they initially started the game as a DPS, but made a healer build to find groups faster. Sorc may not be a meta healing class at the moment, but the healers who play them are unique and always appreciated. Nightblade healers, you guys are up next. You may think that I'm about to tell you that Nightblades are edgelords who just want to fill a healer spot since DPS queue times are so long. Once upon a time, I actually may have said just that. In today's sandbox, however, it's a different story. For most Nightblade healers, I imagine you fall into one of 2 categories. On one hand, you could be a pretty experienced healer who made a Nightblade to get into endgame content. Nightblades running pillagers are worth their weight in gold in vet trials, so you're most likely playing this class to keep up with the meta. These kinds of healers tend to be easygoing but efficient and have probably been around for a little while. On the other hand, you could be the kind of player who main Nightblade as a DPS and had to watch your class fall behind over the years. Then you saw that somehow the rogue class, quote unquote, is the second best healing class in the game. So, you shrugged your shoulders and, well, now you're a healer. You may still yearn for the days of Nightblade DPS supremacy, but you can at least still appreciate that the class is good at something in PvE. On to our Dragonknight healers. You guys are total bros, and you're here for a good time. Is a Dragonknight a good healer? Absolutely not. It's arguably one of the worst, if not the worst, and that's where the charm comes from. You're probably a tank main who made some meme build to mess around with your friends in normal trials or dungeons or something like that. You're a generally pretty upbeat person who values strong bonds with your friends. You're probably always trying and succeeding to make people laugh, and most people just enjoy being around you. I also think these guys tend to be pretty good at the game. Maybe not the best healers, but they at least have enough confidence in their skills and abilities to put out some decent healing and help keep their team alive. Overall, these guys have everyone cracking up within seconds of joining the voice chat, and know that you guys really are appreciated. Next on the list, we have the Warden healers. You guys most likely Googled best healer class, ESO, and just picked the first one you saw. Okay, up next, no, I'm totally kidding. Though I will say that if a Warden is your first pick, you probably did a little research on the game. Or maybe you have a friend who showed you the ropes. You wanted a healer class that could comfortably heal in any piece of content, and you found yourself a Warden. It's no secret that they are arguably the single best healing class for any piece of content in the entire game. With them being such a well-rounded class, it brings in healers of all different kinds. I've seen god-tier PvP Wardens who are ultra-competitive, endgame Wardens who are super chill and make healing vet trials look effortless, even solo Wardens who just love the druid aesthetic and our little bear buddy. No matter where you go, you're likely to run into a Warden healer, and wherever you find one, they're likely to bring some good heals and even better vibes. Okay, up next we have the Necromancer healers. I'll be honest, I barely see any Necro healers these days, and I think it's just because outside of off-tanking, Necro has kind of become the red-headed stepchild of this game. Most Necro healers I've met are more on the introverted side, but maybe not quite as much as the Sorcerer. Many people tend to think of the Necro as dark and broody, and while this can be true, I've actually found that a lot of Necro healers have a great sense of humor. These guys tend to understand the irony of the Necromancer class keeping people from dying, and maybe even started a Necro healer for that exact reason alone. Though let's be honest with ourselves, most of us started a Necro healer because someone came in clutch with that revive ultimate one time and you thought, oh my gosh, that's amazing, I want to do that. It's okay, we have all had that thought at least once. Finally, we have our Arcanist healers. From my experience, you guys tend to be very logical and calculated. You're probably good at math, which is good because one of us has to be, and it's sure not going to be me. You've probably at least dabbled once or twice in min-maxing your parse, whether it be healing or damage. You may have also tried to find the most optimal skill rotation for near perfect uptimes on the many buffs that an arc healer brings. For you, big numbers means big dopamine. More than likely, you started your arc as a DPS, then remembered, oh yeah, DPS Q times, and decided to throw together a little healing build. From there, you realize that the Arcanist is not just a great DPS class, but it's actually a pretty solid healing class as well. Okay, well I think that about wraps it up. Just a reminder that at the end of the day, these were just my own perceptions and experiences. If yours are different from mine, that's totally okay and valid, and I hope you'll share yours in the comments. Either way though, I had a lot of fun making this video, and I hope you had fun watching it. All I've got left to say is that I've been Doc. Take care of yourselves, be good to others, remember to send some love to your local Necromancer mains, and I will catch y'all in the next one.